Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. In today's video, we have so much to cover. There has been an update regarding Jamie Gittens and his potential move to Chelsea this summer. More information around Kevin De Bruyne as he is a free agent this summer and where he will end up next season. There's been some more information regarding Kendry Paez. Will he stay at Chelsea or be loaned out next season? And of course, we're going to be talking about the title of this video, Enzo Maresca to be sacked at the end of the season. So make sure you watch the end where we discuss this in full. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Fabrice Hawkins has reported that Chelsea and Christopher Nkunku have reached the point of no return and he is expected to leave in the summer. Arsenal and Bayern were interested this winter and are expected to return next summer. Other clubs are in the running. Now, as I spoke in previous videos, we know that Christopher Nkunku is leaving Chelsea this summer. He was trying to leave in the winter, but Chelsea kind of outpriced him. Bayern Munich came in for him. We wanted something ridiculous like 80 million euros for Nkunku, which we just knew we wasn't going to get. Very surprised that Arsenal are linked with Christopher Nkunku. I mean, hey, Arsenal have been picking up Chelsea players for the last, 5 to 10 years, usually at the end of their career and giving us a big chunk of change for it. I mean, the last one was Havertz, isn't at the end of his career, but you know what I mean. You go back to Willian, David Luiz, Czech. There's been a history of it, right? I'm very surprised they're interested in Nkunku. Now, do I think Nkunku would do well at Arsenal? More than likely. I think they'll utilise him in a better way than we have, and they can build around him with the current squad they've got. He kind of slots in there quite nicely. We know that Manchester United are also heavily interested in Nkunku, so with Nkunku having the option, he will more likely stay in the Premier League, but his best spell in his career was in the Bundesliga. So if Bayern Munich come knocking, I don't see him saying no, but I am also hoping that Chelsea do not outprice Nkunku. I really hope that we are looking to get him off the books. He clearly doesn't want to be here. He looks like he doesn't want to play when he's on the pitch. Barely puts in any effort. It's just not worked for him. And they say that Chelsea and Nkunku's reached a point of no return. We can clearly see that. We've known this for ages. We've known this for months. The writing has been on the wall for a long time this season. So I would like to know your thoughts and opinions on Christopher Nkunku at Chelsea. Where did it go wrong? Where did it go wrong? Can you pinpoint an exact moment in time where that's when the tides turned with Nkunku and Chelsea? Because I've said this before, he was genuinely one of my favourite players before we signed him. I thought he was an incredible talent, and he still is a world-class player when he plays, and just not in a Chelsea shirt, essentially. We don't have a very good track record with Bundesliga players coming across to Chelsea and performing, like having that mirrored to what they did in the Bundesliga. When you look at the likes of Havertz and Werner, and Nkunku, to be fair. But I would like to know your thoughts. Do you think he goes to Arsenal? Do you think he goes to Bayern? Do you think he goes to United? Do you think he actually stays at Chelsea, repairs this damage? It says it's point of no return. I firmly believe that, which is a massive shame because he's such a good player. We saw such good spells of him, in that pre-season before he got his first big injury, and he looked like he was going to tear the league apart. Then he had that long spell out, he had that injury and he came back and he can, under Poch, he did show signs of still wanting to win and still wanting to be part of this club and wanting to fight for his first team position. It was just a matter of getting minutes under his belt. But this season under Maresca, just looks like he don't want to be here. Moving on to Kendry Paez. Will he be at Chelsea next season or will he be on loan at Strasbourg? Fabrizio Romano on Threads put out this, saying, I expect Kendry Paez to go on loan next season, which I know isn't a lot to go on. But this is a conversation I would like to have with you guys because I feel like the Chelsea fans are quite split with Kendry Paez. I think we can all agree we are excited to see him come and play for Chelsea. He looks like an unbelievable talent. He was signed around the same sort of time as Esteval. We know Esteval was coming after the Club World Cup. Paez has been, in and around England and training with Strasbourg for the last 3 months to adapt to European football. But will he walk into this Chelsea team? Will he be part of Maresca's plans next season, if Maresca is even here next season? Will he be part of Chelsea's plans? Is he going to be a key player in that first team? Or is he going to be loaned to Strasbourg to see how he plays in that division? To see if he can develop even more so he is absolutely ripe and ready to come to the Premier League, play for Chelsea and absolutely tear things up. I'm kind of on the fence with this. I would love to see Paez play next season, but I have to, put my reality goggles on and realise he's 18 years old. We can't expect an 18-year-old to come in and tear the league up like we are with Esteval, or at least it seems to be that way, the general consensus with Chelsea fans. Would I be sad if he goes on loan to Strasbourg? Probably not. I think it would be very good for his development. You just look at the likes of Sarr and Santos and Petrovic. They're going to Strasbourg. They're having such a good season with their manager there, who's just signed, renewed his deal to stay there even longer. They're fighting for Champions League qualification places, just like we are, really. But the way that these players have developed across the season has been phenomenal. So I think the board might look at that and go, well, look, it looks like these players are, developing a lot quicker than expected, having clubs like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, etc. coming in and sniffing around players like Santos because of how well he's played this season. That could potentially be a thing that happens with Paez, where we know that he's been bought for the long term. We know he's been bought for the future. He is still very young. I would love to see him play in a Chelsea shirt, but he could go to Strasbourg. I think I'd be happy with either. We just want to see him play. We want to see him play for Chelsea. We know that, right? But I think I wouldn't mind too much if he went on loan to develop for a season, but it would be very exciting to see him play for Chelsea. I think the Club World Cup will probably be the big decider, playing for us in that sort of competition, which I know a lot of people have different feelings about the Club World Cup. And I get that, right? FIFA completely redesigned it. We're in it because we won the Champions League in 2021. Some people agree with that or disagree with that. Cool, whatever. But in terms of the competition, we kind of have to look at this as something that we can win. And secondly, as like a pre-season. Because this competition cuts our pre-season down significantly. Depending on how far we go in the competition, we only get a couple of weeks and the new season starts, which isn't really a lot of time for the players to rest, recuperate, come back for that fresh for the new season to start new systems and tactics and things like that for the new Prem season. So I feel like the Club World Cup, if we do go far in it, that is going to be our kind of pre-season experiment with these new players coming back, loan players come back, new signings that we make, etc. So I think that may be the key for Kendry Paez's future. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Moving on to the updates regarding Kevin De Bruyne. Matt Law has reported that Chelsea are unlikely to make a move to re-sign Kevin De Bruyne, despite head coach Enzo Maresca hinting that he wants to add more experience to this squad this summer. Now, we saw this coming, didn't we? When I did a video on this previously a few days ago, I was like, this is exciting. This could potentially happen. But I did mention in that video, I just don't see Chelsea paying the wages. Kevin De Bruyne's on something stupid like 400 grand a week. He's not going to be willing to, as a free agent, you can typically ask for more wages because they get a sign-on. There's no transfer fee to the club. It goes directly to the player and they typically get more wages, right? That's why players like to run down their contract, because it's more of a bag that they can get when they move. Not all the time, but you see it happening, right? I think David Alaba was a really good example of that when he went to Madrid. He run down his contract. He went to Madrid. Now he's on 450 grand a week because he can. They're not paying a transfer fee, so it kind of works out. If you pay the fee and the wages over a certain period of time, it's almost like you're paying a higher transfer fee and lesser wages. So it does balance out. Regardless of that, Chelsea will not pay whatever Kevin De Bruyne wants wages. We know this, right? This new wage structure. It's just, unless Kevin De Bruyne's willing to be like, yeah, I'll do it for 150 grand a week. Yeah, cool. I'm in the last sort of few seasons of my career. I'm winding down. I'm here for experience. Then yeah, potentially, but I can't see that happening. Now, it's such a romanticized idea that I love the thought of that he would come back to Chelsea, a bit of unfinished business, build the bridges again or repair them bridges, give the experience to this young squad who are developing on the job, really. And he would be such an integral part or like bit part player throughout the season. Would he play every game? Of course he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't. Man City wouldn't let him go if he was in his prime and playing every week. However, he would be vital. He would be vital coming on for the last 20 minutes or being that dressing room player or starting and then coming off or whatever it is. The ability this guy has is unbelievable. He's a generational talent. People say that he's one of the best, or if not the best, Premier League midfielder of all time. There's a reason for that. He's won everything. He's so technically gifted. I just can't see him coming to Chelsea. The other side of that romanticised version is the unromantic version of he hates our club. We let him go. He scored goals against us. He celebrated against us. He doesn't... I think he respects Chelsea, of course, but I don't think he has like a connection to it other than these guys didn't think I was good enough and let me go. Look what I've gone to achieve since then. So it doesn't surprise me we're not going to go in for him. I thought that the original sort of rumour was just there for clicks and headlines, right? That's why I wanted to discuss it with you guys. We had a nice conversation in the comments about it. Did I think realistically it was going to happen? No. Can we dream that it could happen? Yeah, of course. But now we kind of know that it's just not going to happen. Moving on to the updates regarding Jamie Gittens. Burger PJ has reported that Chelsea have now signalled concrete interest in Jamie Gittens. They've already in talks with the player's representatives to explore the prospects of a potential transfer. He then goes on to report that Chelsea are in contact with Gittens' camp and have already offered him 6 to 7 million euros a year, doubling his current salary, and Dortmund requests 42 to 50 million pounds. This is super exciting. I think Gittens is an exciting player. He's explosive, he can take his man on, he's very direct. And if our shortlist of players of who our targets are for the summer are anything to go by, the left wing position was Garnacho, who personally I hope we don't go in for, Gittens or Nico Williams. Now, of course, the dream signing would be Nico Williams. What a player he is. However, we're not going to pay his wages. We're just not going to pay his wages. He has a good relationship with Bilbao. They're talking about signing a lifetime deal with him or something ridiculous, which is great for him, you know. He's a great player. I don't want Garnacho. At least me personally. Let me know if you want Garnacho. So Gittens is the perfect solution to that. He is the one left of those three options at the most realistic. To offer him 6 to 7 million euros a year, which is doubling his salaries, obviously very enticing. And 42 to 50 million is almost like a standard market value for a player of that age, that quality, that caliber, right? 40, 50 million will get you pretty much anyone unless you're going for a superstar, right? And then it goes higher than that and it's like 60, 70. And then, you know, you've got the astronomical ones that are like 90 plus million, which you don't see very often. So I think that's more than reasonable. 42 to 50 million. I reckon what we could see is a potential swap with cash with Carney Chukwuemeka, because Dortmund do want to buy him off us permanently for around 40 million or trigger that clause, whether it's 40 million euros or 40 million pounds. That means there is a bit of a conversion difference. So maybe that's where the difference is. So Chelsea could potentially say, look, you can have Carney Chukwuemeka. We're asking for 40 million. You want to pay 40 million euros. There's a bit of a difference. We'll pay the difference and we'll get Gittens in return, or maybe some money on top. Yeah, you'd have to do money on top. Say, I don't know, 20 million on top to cover that difference for Carney Chukwuemeka plus Gittens. The valuation of the players are relatively similar. Let's make it happen. I think that could be a potential move that we could do. And I think that's quite realistic, especially the way that Chelsea are moving in the transfer market. I know we're trying to buy kids, but at least this time we're buying kids within Europe that are actually having good seasons, that are developing, are showing signs of being really good players. I really don't want Garnacho. I mean, yes, he's got talent. He's young. He can, you know, he's got time to develop. I just don't see him improving our squad at all. And I think that, again, when you're at Manchester United, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? And, you know, you have to respect United for that. They are one of the biggest clubs in the world. When you go there, you get the big paycheck, you get the status and all that sort of thing. When you move away from United, you also want to keep them United standards within the wages, etc. when you go to another club. And again, Chelsea aren't going to pay his wages. I don't know how much Garnacho is on. I can imagine it's not mass amounts, but potentially because he's at United. Like Rashford, for example, and Sancho are massive, massive wages. I just don't see Chelsea paying it. But at the same time, Chelsea move a bit weird in the transfer market sometimes. If we're going to chuck 60, 70 million at Garnacho, or at United for Garnacho, they're going to say yes, obviously. But I'm hoping that the Gittens camp are like, do you know what? This is a good move. You're going to get guaranteed game time on that left-hand side. The uncertainty of Mudryk. We don't know if we're going to keep Sancho or not. You know, there's a lot of games to be played next season with the cup competitions, the league, with European football, of whatever stage we make it into. So I think it could make a lot of sense. I would be happy with that. Like I said, he's explosive, he's exciting, he can beat a man, he's direct, he looks to create chances. I don't think 42 to 50 million is a massive overprice at all. I think that's about fair for a player in this current day and age. And a salary of 6 to 7 million euros, I haven't done the quick maths on that, but it doesn't seem ridiculous. I think Osman was asking for like 12 or like 10 or 11 after tax, which is a massive difference. And that's in euros as well. So you convert it to pounds, it's like, what, 5 million a year? I don't know. It should be within our wage structure if we're offering that at least. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Out of that left wing scenario, would you have rather Garnacho, Gittens or Nico Williams? And lastly, we move on to the big news. Court Offside have reported that Enzo Maresca could be facing the sack at Chelsea, with members of the board split on whether to continue with him as head coach next season. This is very interesting for so many reasons. I don't know how long this part of the video is going to be, but I want to kind of break this down, right? We have been told all season that Maresca is the man. Maresca is the man. We've given him a 5-year deal. We have a long-term vision. He is the guy. There is pretty much nothing he can do for us to sack him. It has to work. He has the systems, the style of football, blah, 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 blah. We've not backed him in the windows. We've depleted his squad in January, made it very difficult for him. And I personally think that Maresca's had a good season overall. The way we start the season, fantastic. That little couple of months in between, shocking, right? I'm not saying that he's blameless. He's made mistakes. He is learning on the job, which is still a wild thing to say as a Chelsea fan when you're talking about the manager of Chelsea Football Club. It's not been good enough. We're now starting to get results again, especially when we need it, right? We're in the semi-finals of the Conference League. People expect us to win it. You still have to go out and do that. And we're still on for qualifying for Champions League spots. Now, yes, we've got this death runner for 4 games of Liverpool, Newcastle, United and Forest. They are a massive, massive games. Every game's a final. But yes, we drew to Ipswich. It's still a point. We should have got 3, but it's a point. You know, we beat Fulham in emphatic fashion in terms of the last-minute winner. It was absolute limbs. And then we just beat Everton in my opinion, a very good performance across the park where we dominated. Yeah, we had some sloppy sort of spells in the second half, but we got the job done. Massive saves, clean sheet. Regardless, it's an extra 3 points. I personally think we're going to get more points in these last 4 games than a lot of people expect us to. I had people comment on yesterday's review video saying, oh yeah, the last win of the season and stuff like that. And I get it, it's funny, right? But at the same time, I think we are going to pick up more points. The way I've always seen it with Maresca, I've said this from the start, a lot of creators have, and you know, people's opinions have changed throughout the season. I've even questioned him at times. I've done videos where I'm like, do we have to question him? Does he have to go? Like, because this just isn't good enough. And we're reactionary as fans. We're emotional. We're tied into our club. We love our club. We want to see us do the best that we can. I've always said from the start that if it doesn't work out on Maresca, the directors have to go because they hired him. This is their last chance saloon with their manager. It's been, nearly 4 years with 3 to 4 different managers, and it hasn't worked. If Maresca goes out the door, the directors have to go with him. The recruitment hasn't been great. Yes, we've bought and sold a lot of players. We have got rid of a lot of deadwood, to be fair. We still have a lot more to get rid of this summer. But we've had a lot more misses than we have hits with the people we've recruited. So it's a big amalgamation. So for the board to keep saying all season, he's the man, you know, we're not even going to judge him at the end of the season. We're actually doing a 2-year plan. So we're going to go this season, Club World Cup, next season, then we'll review him. They're basically telling us he's bought time. He's got time on his hands, right? Conference League, Champions League qualification, they're the 2 main objectives. We still have 4 games left to go, and essentially, 6, 7, 8 in total, 7 in total. My maths is terrible. 7 in total if we get to the final of the Conference League. You've got the 2 semi-final legs and then the final as well, right? So 7 games left of our season. And if we win the Conference League, cool, that's one objective done. If we qualify for the Champions League, that's amazing because look at the position we're in and look at the run we've been on for the last few months. That's a miracle, right? If not, we get Europa League. That means we're guaranteed Europa League with winning the Conference League and the position in the table. They're the objectives we had from the start of the season. So that's why it's kind of like, well, the sporting directors are giving him a lot more time because they're like, well, they're the objectives. We've got to do this, blah, 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 blah. Now, a lot of the fans, like I said, a lot of creators, a lot of fans at the start of the season are like, cool, yeah, sweet, all right, fine. If it don't work, he's got to go, right? However, he has his objectives he has to hit. People have been very quick. I know fans from November have been calling for Maresca out, which is wild to me because at that time in the league, we were flying, right? And I know that we were a couple of points off of top around December and it kind of fell off a ship because he said, we're not ready. We're not ready to compete for a title. And again, there's things he said in the press that just aren't right. I understand the frustrations from fans with Maresca. I understand why people want him out, right? It's not what we're used to. And, you know, the football can be boring. It's sideways, it's backwards, blah, blah, blah. We can't break people down. Look, I'm a fan too, and I feel the same frustrations. But I just feel like with this certain scenario, the board are shocking because they can't make their mind up. All season they're saying, yeah, he's got time. We've got review points. You know, we're still on course, blah, blah, blah. Next season is going to improve because we've got players coming back. We're going to have another window to strengthen. If they go out and buy players for Maresca and his system, the profiles he needs, then yeah, I can see us kicking on doing really well next season. If they don't, they're hanging him out to dry. They've not gone in the market and backed the profiles that he needs. They've actually got rid of players. The whole Felix thing was a make-weight for Conor Gallagher. We then got rid of him in January. He could have played loads of minutes between January and now. Maresca didn't even want João Felix. He didn't even want. He's not the profile we wanted. So he had to try and shoehorn him in. People say, "Oh, I didn't give enough time. Didn't give him the minutes." Yeah, cool. He didn't even want him. You've got a player you don't want. You know, he has given him minutes, not as much as he should be getting. But if he didn't get sent out alone in January, he would have had a lot more minutes. Especially with the whole Nkunku not performing and not wanting to be there as well. Obviously, we've had injuries to Madueke, Jackson. Palmer's been miles off it. It's just a very interesting topic to talk about, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Some of you are completely Maresca out. I respect that. Some people want it to stay in and want a bit of longevity. I'm kind of on the fence with that. Like, I want to see us keep a manager for more than a season. That would be nice. And I can see what Maresca's trying to build. I can see the systems. I can see the vision. I can see what he's trying to do. And a game like yesterday kind of give me a fresh look at things. Like, oh, wow, if we actually played like that on a regular basis, we'd be picking up a lot more points. And that's when we can start challenging for, you know, higher positions in the league consistently, right? Not saying title winners, because we're not near that in terms of quality, but the way that we were playing, we controlled large spells of the game. We were playing with a lot more intensity. We broke the teams down quite nicely. We had a variety of chances that we were creating. We just need someone to finish them. So it's just wild that all season we've had, he's safe, he's got time, we're backing him forever, basically, unless he does something cataclysmically wrong. We even got some sort of like Chelsea PR recently saying, like, even if he doesn't qualify for Europe, he's safe because they've got this 2-year review stop. And then we've had this come out from caught offside. Now, whether this is, let's tell the truth. Wherever this is, this could be just to get clicks and headlines. Fair enough. If it is, cool. It's just waffle. But I find it very interesting. Caught offside aren't like 100% right all the time, but more often than not, they're on the money. So, is it reliable? I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting topic to have with you guys. Enzo Maresca to be sacked at the end of the season. Now, I know there'll be a lot of Chelsea fans that will be happy with that. But then I asked the question of who do we replace him with? Because if he goes and the directors stay, I don't trust these directors to hire someone else because they've had this revolving door of managers and it hasn't worked out. So, do you want Maresca to go and the directors to go? Do you just want Maresca to go and you're going to trust these directors to go in the market, get a better manager? Because who's available? I don't know. Right, we've had a lot of top end managers turn us down because of the vision and what we're trying to do with the wage structure and buying the kids and the long term thing. They were sold on Maresca's vision of the type of football he wants to play over a long time with these developing youngsters. So they've got to go out and get another Maresca, really. Otherwise, the whole plan needs to be ripped up again and started again, which we don't have the money to do. We haven't got the time to do. We want to be competing. We want to be growing as a club again. We want to be back to where we were. So it's just a question I want to ask you guys. You know, do you give Maresca more time with the right tools and resources this summer and go, right, this is your season. If you don't deliver, bye. Or do you get rid of him and just get someone else in? And at this point, you're just happy to see someone else in the dugout rather than Maresca. Because, like I said, I'm on the fence. I would like to see Maresca get more time. I think with the right tools and resources and the way that he's sort of handled himself, I like the way he delivers his press conferences. Yes, it's not always right, but I see the angle of where he's coming from. He backs himself. He protects the players sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't. He calls them out when it's needed to. But he's also very honest. He's like, I need experience. I need a leader. We don't have any. And he's bang on, right? We don't have that. We don't have the right players to play the system. He's bang on because the sporting directors haven't backed him in the window. They've actually depleted his squad this season. So, I don't know. I just think it's very, very interesting. Let me know your thoughts and opinions of Enzo Maresca potentially getting sacked at the end of the season. Would you give him more time? Would you get rid of him? If you would get rid of him, do the directors go? Or do you just replace Maresca with another Maresca? So that's all the Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this far to the end of the video, firstly, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail that pops up on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.